In this short video, I want to give a brief explanation of the tension and trauma releasing exercise process, which tries to express both its simplicity and its complexity. The exercises are designed to mildly stretch and stress certain muscle groups. And they start with the feet and the ankles, and then move up to the calf muscles, and then the quadricep muscles, the adductors and hamstring muscles, and then into the psoas muscle. Now, it's important to stop here and mention the psoas muscle since it's integral to the tension and trauma releasing exercises. The psoas muscles actually insert in the top of the femur, or which is the top leg bone. And then they move through the pelvis up into the spine, which is actually their origin, and they attach to the front of the lumbar vertebrae of the spine. The psoas muscle, or the psoas major, is the only muscle that connects the legs and the pelvis and the trunk of the body. That's why it's particularly significant. It has been recognized by many professionals that tightness in the psoas muscle is often what creates pain in the lower back, the neck, and the shoulders. Since it is also considered the fight or flight muscles, chronic contraction of this muscle tends to keep the nervous system on high alert. After we have exercised these particular muscle groups, the last exercise is to lay on the floor and pick up the pelvis, which stretches the core body muscles. So that now we've moved all of the muscle groups from the feet all the ways up through the legs, pelvis, and into the back and up to the shoulders. Now, what does this produce? The stretching helps to activate what's called central pattern generators. Now, central pattern generators move up through the spine in a process called crosstalk. Central pattern generators are networks of neurons located inside the gray matter in the center of the spinal column. And the central pattern generators are responsible for the tremoring mechanism moving up through the spinal column and into the brain. Once the stimulation is received into the brain, it can go into three different parts of what's called the triune brain. The first part is the brainstem, considered the reptilian brain. The second part is the limbic system, or the mammalian brain. And the third part is the cortex, or the human part of the brain. Now, once this information goes into these three parts of the brain, and it gets to the cortex, it goes into what's called the intrinsic connectivity network. Basically, this is three parts of the cortex that are involved in the communication of how to process the tremor mechanism. So once the information gets to the cortex, it goes into what's called the salience network, or the switch. It's called the switch because it's this part of the cortex and this part of the network that determines whether the information coming from the body should be sent to what's called the central executive network, or the thinking mode, and therefore it should potentially do something with this information, or should it go to the default mode network, or the rest mode, where this information is taken in as a reflective experience or connecting to some experience of the past. Now, this entire process is assisted by what's called the transcortical loop. The transcortical loop sends information through afferent neurons from the body to the brain. And the brain's response is to use efferent neurons as part of the transcortical loop to return some type of information back into the body. And by repeating the exercises and activating the tremor mechanism, this entire activity continues to loop its way around through the brain and the body and the nervous system. And it appears that by continuously activating this series of mechanisms, a reorganizational behavior emerges in the individual's brain, spine, nervous and myofascial systems, as well as their life as a whole. Now, what I mean by as well as their life as a whole, basically is if the nervous system is calming down and the body is going into a state of relaxation, and homeostasis is being reintroduced into the body, the desire for social engagement or social interaction with other people automatically produces itself. Meaning you don't have to try to be socially interactive because you feel calm and safe and comfortable with yourself, and this produces a sense of calmness, safety, and comfort to extend yourself into social relationship with others. And this is the process of TRE. It's about activating a shaking mechanism in the body that has positive effects of moving the body towards health in an integrated manner.